In the heart of the ancient forest, where the trees whispered secrets and the moon's light barely touched the ground, there was a house that no one dared to enter. The villagers spoke of it in hushed tones, calling it the House of Whispers. It was said that long ago, a sorceress lived there, her heart broken by a love that could never be. She vanished one stormy night, but her presence lingered, weaving through the walls, whispering through the shadows. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an eerie glow over the forest, Elara stood at the edge of the trees, her heart pounding. She had heard the tales, but something inside her pulled her toward the house. Maybe it was the strange dream she had the night before. A dream of a figure standing in the doorway, beckoning her with a hand that shimmered like starlight. "Are you sure about this?" her brother, Darian, asked, his voice tight with fear. His eyes darted to the house, then back to her. Elara nodded, her hand gripping the old, worn key she found buried under a stone in their garden. "I have to know," she whispered, more to herself than to him. "There's something in there, something that belongs to us." As they approached the house, the wind picked up, carrying with it the scent of rain and something else, something ancient and cold. The door creaked open before they even touched it, revealing a dark hallway that seemed to stretch on forever. Every step they took echoed, bouncing off the walls as if the house were alive, listening, waiting. "Elara, we shouldn't be here," Darian muttered, his voice barely audible. He reached for her hand, but she was already moving forward, drawn by a force she couldn't explain. The air grew colder as they ventured deeper into the house, their breath visible in the dim light. Shadows danced on the walls, forming shapes that seemed almost human. The sound of soft, distant laughter sent chills down their spines. Suddenly, the door at the end of the hallway slammed shut. Elara gasped, turning to see Darian staring at something behind her. "Elara?" His voice trembled. "There's someone here." She spun around, her heart leaping into her throat. Standing in the doorway was a figure, a woman, her form shimmering like the figure in Elara's dream. Her eyes were pools of darkness, her expression unreadable. "You came," the woman said, her voice echoing in the silence. "I've been waiting. Who are you?" Elara stammered, her hand tightening around the key. The woman smiled, a sad, knowing smile. "I am the keeper of the heart you seek. It has been hidden here for centuries, protected by the magic of the forest. But now, it calls to you." Elara took a step forward, the key in her hand glowing faintly. "Why me? Why now?" "Because," the woman whispered, "you carry the blood of those who loved too deeply. The heart belongs to you, and only you can set it free." Darian tugged at Elara's sleeve, his voice urgent. "We need to leave, Elara. This place, it's not safe." But Elara couldn't move. The woman's words wrapped around her like a spell, pulling her closer. She could feel the weight of the past pressing down on her, the sorrow of lost love, the fear of the unknown. "If you take the heart," the woman said, her voice barely a breath, "you must be prepared for what comes next. Love is powerful, but it can also destroy. Choose wisely, Elara." As the last word left her lips, the woman faded, dissolving into the shadows. The house seemed to exhale, the walls creaking as if relieved of a great burden. Elara stood frozen, the key now cold in her hand. Darian's voice cut through the silence. "Elara, please, let's go." But Elara knew she couldn't leave, not yet. She turned to her brother, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination. "I have to find it, Darian. I have to know the truth." With a deep breath, she walked toward the door that had closed moments before. It opened easily under her touch, revealing a room bathed in soft, golden light. In the center of the room, on a pedestal of stone, lay a heart, glowing with a warmth that seemed to reach out to her. Elara reached for it, her fingers trembling. As soon as she touched it, a wave of emotions crashed over her. Love, sorrow, joy, pain. It was overwhelming, yet she couldn't let go. And then, as if from a great distance, she heard the woman's voice once more. The heart is yours, Elara. But remember, with love comes sacrifice. Elara closed her eyes, feeling the weight of the heart in her hands. She knew that her life would never be the same, but she also knew that she couldn't turn back. This was her destiny, and as the house pulsed with life around her, she made her choice. At the moment Elara made her decision, she felt something change within her. The heart was pulsing in her hands, but it was searching for something more. A mysterious need filled her soul, something that hadn't been there before. Elara, we need to go now, Darian shouted, but his voice seemed distant. She was entirely focused on the new sensation sweeping over her. The heart was glowing with greater intensity, and within the light, she saw vague images, glimpses of a past she had never lived. She took a step forward, as if guided by an invisible force, and then suddenly felt something strange. The heart's rhythm became irregular, as if it was searching for a missing piece. At that moment, she realized that the heart in her hand was not whole. The other half, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Where is it? Her words had scarcely left her lips when she felt a new, powerful pull, dragging her to another part of the house. It was as if the heart itself was guiding her, searching for something or someone in particular. Upstairs, where the rooms were draped in shadows, she stood before an old wooden door, tightly shut. She sensed that something important lay behind it, something that belonged to her. She reached out and slowly opened the door. The dim light from the candle in her hand illuminated a small room, with an old bed and a dusty mirror, but her eyes were quickly drawn to the far corner, where a small, intricately carved box sat. Without hesitation, Elara approached the box. Her heart beat more forcefully with each step she took. When she opened the box, she found another half of a heart, identical to the one she was holding, but it was dim, as if waiting for something to awaken it. The second half, she whispered again, but at that moment, she heard a sound behind her. She slowly turned around, her eyes meeting those of a man standing in the shadows. His face was strangely familiar, as if she had known him for a long time. I've been searching for you, he said in a deep, calm voice. I am the bearer of the other half. Fate has brought us together today. He approached her slowly, his eyes fixed on the heart she was holding. This heart, he said, will only be complete if our halves are united. Without hesitation, Elara offered her half of the heart, and watched as the man did the same. When they placed the two halves of the heart together, the pieces merged, and a bright light burst forth, filling the entire room. Finally, the man whispered, "We are whole." The bright light slowly began to fade, but as it did, Elara felt something new filling her soul. She was no longer just Elara. She was part of something bigger, something deeper and more meaningful. The man before her was not just a stranger. He was the other half of her soul, the guardian destined to complete her. "What is your name?" she asked, her voice filled with wonder. The man smiled and said, "I am Darian, and I have waited for this day for 1,000 years." Elara felt a whirlwind of emotions surging inside her. Joy, love, fear, and a sense of responsibility. But she also knew that this was not the end, but rather a new beginning. "Together," Darian said, extending his hand toward her, "we will protect this heart and restore its power. The love it carries is the force that will change everything." Elara took his hand, and in that moment, she felt complete. The path ahead of them was long and full of challenges, but it was a path they had to walk together. And the heart, now glowing fully in her hand, signaled that fate had brought them together for a reason far greater than they could have imagined. After the heart was completed, Elara and Darian realized that their union had unleashed ancient powers buried for centuries. The heart was more than just a symbol of love. It was a gateway to immense forces, a blend of light and darkness, good and evil. As they descended from the upper floor, they noticed that the house began to change around them. The walls started to shift, and mysterious sounds grew louder, as if the house itself was testing their strength. The heart we carry is attracting the attention of ancient forces, Darian said cautiously. Forces that do not want this heart to return to the world. We must be prepared for anything. But what are these forces? Elara asked, her fear growing. Darian looked at her seriously. They are those who lost their souls due to the heart's immense power. They were consumed by darkness, and now they are trying to return to the world through us. The moment Darian finished speaking, all the lights in the house suddenly went out, plunging them into absolute darkness. Elara heard whispers all around her, as if voices from another world were calling out to them, tempting them with the promise of eternal power. Darian, we have to get out of here, Elara cried, but before they could move, a massive shadow appeared before them, its eyes gleaming with malice. You won't escape so easily, said a deep, terrifying voice from the shadow. The heart is mine. I will reclaim it, no matter the cost. This entity was one of the ancient spirits lost to the heart's power. It sought to regain what it considered its rightful possession, even if it meant destroying Elara and Darian. Darian gripped Elara's hand tightly, and she felt warmth flow from him to her. We won't let them take what is ours, Darian said, his voice filled with determination. The power we now hold is the power of love, and darkness cannot defeat it. They had to find a way to overcome the spirits that hunted them, but it wouldn't be easy. Every step was fraught with danger, and every moment was critical. As time went on, Elara and Darian began to realize that the heart's power lay in their unity. If they were separated, their strength would diminish, and the darkness would be able to overtake them. But if they remained united, they could use this power not only to protect themselves, but to restore peace to a world disrupted by these ancient spirits. Throughout their journey, they would face many challenges, from mysterious monsters to magical traps, and even possible betrayals from those who appeared to be friends. But amid all these dangers, the love between Elara and Darian grew stronger, turning into a force that darkness could not conquer. Over time, they would begin to learn the heart's secrets and its true capabilities, enabling them to use it in the final battle against the evil spirits. In the final confrontation, darkness surrounded Elara and Darian from all sides as the evil spirits closed in, determined to reclaim the heart at any cost. The air was thick with tension, and time was running out. Darian, what are we going to do? Elara whispered, her eyes filled with fear. Darian looked at her with determination. There is only one way to end this. We have to fully merge our hearts together. But that could kill us, Elara cried out. We were told that the power unleashed could be destructive. Darian gently took her hands, his eyes locking deeply with hers. Elara, the power isn't just in the heart, but in the love we share. True love can't be destroyed. It will restore the balance that was lost. Without further hesitation, Elara moved closer to Darian and placed her half of the heart next to his. For a moment, it seemed as if the entire world paused, as if time itself was waiting for this very moment. When the hearts fully merged, a tremendous energy exploded from them, beyond anything they had ever imagined. The evil spirits froze in place, unable to move forward, and instead of destroying the world, the energy began transforming them into forms of pure light. Those spirits, once twisted by darkness, started to regain their original forms as beings of light who had lost their way. But the impact wasn't just on the spirits, it affected the entire world. The cracked and darkened earth began to bloom again, and the cloudy sky opened up to reveal bright stars that hadn't been seen for centuries. The entire world was responding to the new force emanating from the heart. As for Elara and Darian, they felt themselves changing. They were no longer mere mortals. They had become pure beings of light, embodiments of love and peace. In that moment, they understood that their mission was not only to end the darkness, but to bring light back into the world. "We will always be here," Darian said as they transformed into a radiant light. "In every heart that beats with love, we will be a part of it." As the evil spirits vanished and the world transformed around them, Elara and Darian became part of the vital energy that connects everything together. They became guardians of love and peace, beings of light who could appear at any time to protect those who choose love over fear. In the end, their essence spread throughout the world, carrying the message that true love is the greatest power, a force that no darkness can ever overcome.